Son, I thought I told you to take out the trash. You're 38 years old. It's time you start acting your age and not your shoe size.
Oh, really? I act like I'm 5.5. Why don't you just get off my back, Dennis?
Gregory Michael Douglas, what did I tell you about calling me by my first name? You will respect me as your father, young man.
Sure thing. Right after you stop calling me by my slave name. I told you to call me by one of my screen names. You can call me God the Skeptic, Free from Religion, Free Thinking Skeptic, Rational Skeptic, Vegan Skeptic, Skeptic the Skeptic, Skippity Skeptastic Skeptic, or any of the other names from one of my fake accounts.
Darn it, Gregory, it's time for me to be frank. Your behavior over the last 25 years is starting to concern your mother and I. All you do is play video games and argue with strangers on the internet. Ever since quarantine started, your life hasn't changed one bit. Don't you think it's time to move out of our basement and make something of yourself?
I am making something of myself. I'm part of the masses who are leaving behind Bronze Age myths and a magical man in the sky. We're gonna take over the world, and stop calling me Gregory.
Okay, Mr. Septic or whatever you call yourself. You're almost 40 years old. When I was your age, I'd already completed 2 college degrees, I got married, bought a house, and started my own law firm. Haven't you had enough time to decide what to do with your life?
Of course I have.
Really? Well, that's great news. What did you decide on?
The same thing I do every day, get online and try to rob Christians of their hope and joy by telling them their sky daddy is as real as Peter Pan. Duh.
I see.
What else would I be doing with my one and only short, objectively meaningless life? I'm trying to create my own meaning here, Dad. Now excuse me while I get back to ridiculing these intellectually inferior mere simpletons.
Oh, by golly. I see what's going on here. You're still upset with your mother and I for making you say grace at the dinner table when you were little, aren't you?
And don't forget about the times you forced me to go to church too. Thanks for the indoctrination, Dennis.
I thought I was clear last time we had this conversation, Gregory. It's time that you let it go and stop taking it out on strangers on the internet. I was hoping that you would follow my footsteps and perhaps pursue a career in law.
La blah boring. More like la la bye.
It's just, your mother and I just can't seem to understand why you'd want to waste your short life doing nothing but arguing with religious people on the internet when you don't even believe in an afterlife. It makes sense for them to do because they believe that there are souls at risk, but for you, it does not make any logical sense. It's almost as if there was something, dare I say, spiritual going on.
Did you just say spiritual? After all my years of spending countless hours debating and defending my lack of beliefs, and you assume that I believe in magic? No, religion poisons everything. Interesting that you have training in logic, but you don't even realize that you've committed a straw man, a black and white fallacy, and shifted the burden of proof. You sound like an apologist.
Son, you've gotten all the fallacies wrong once again. You really ought to start reading books instead of getting all your information from kids on YouTube. I studied law. I can show you my logic textbooks if you'd like.
More indoctrination from your sacred books? I think I'll pass. Besides, it's time that you grow up out of your Bronze Age myth believing in the free will thing anyway. It's 2020 for crying out loud. For the last time, there is no scientific evidence for that magical thing that you call free will. So stop acting like it. I'm just an evolved meat robot, and so are you.
So, now you don't even believe in free will?
I feel bad for you. Brainwashed by religious dogma like souls and the ability to think freely and make free choices. If you've ever bothered to watch King Skeptic on YouTube, you'll learn that we can only think what we're programmed to think.
Well, that does not make any logical sense, Gregory. If you believe that, then why are you mad at your mother and I for making you go to church when we had no choice in the matter, since we don't have free will, according to you, that is?
I'm so happy I'm not like you sheeple. Thank you, evolution, for programming me to be a free thinker. I mean, a program meat robot thinker that's free to think as I was programmed to think, or whatever.
Oh dear. I failed as a father. You've been brainwashed. Son, honey, Dag Nagget, that's it. No more debating religious people online until you fill out a job application and help out with people in need.
You can't make me. I'm an atheist. You know that I have a problem with authority.
I do not care, Gregory. You will do as I say, young man.
We're so persecuted. They'll never elect an atheist president. Never!
That would not affect you even if it were true. You won't even run for president of a Girl Scout cookie table in front of a Walmart.
How dare you? And to think I used to call you Dad. Liar, straw man, fallacy, dishonest.
I am no such thing. I am only telling you the truth, young man.
No! Everyone who disagrees with me has to be dishonest. They all have to be intentionally lying. How else am I supposed to feel okay about rejecting everything that I don't like, huh? Now listen, Dennis, if you want to persuade me of anything, you have to agree with me and talk to me based on what I already believe. Got it?
Well, then, Gregory, if you come to help me with those in need, the chemicals in your brain can generate illusory feelings of empathy, which will give you an artificial sense that you've done something objectively moral in the world, and you can feel proud of what you did by pretending that you had the choice not to do it. How's that?
Fine. But I'm not helping out a church. I'm programmed to be religiously against the religiousness of religion.
So you're coming?
Yeah, after I just post the word straw man and appeal to authority on What Do You Meme's latest video. I just hope that his atheist don't call me out for getting everything wrong all the time.
Waddle yo what?
No, what do you meme? You know the black apologist guy with the big eyes and married way out of his league? That guy.
Never heard of him. But maybe when we get back, young man, we can enroll you in some fine courses on logical fallacies so that you can use them correctly instead of just repeating the word fallacy when you don't understand them. What do you say?
Me? Take the time to study logic and philosophy before I arrogantly declare that all of the arguments for God's existence have been thoroughly debunked, as opposed to having the blind faith that I have in these atheist YouTubers that I believe know more about philosophy than atheist philosophers? Psh, what do you mean?